Okay, so this video is going to be how God came into my life. So I've been walking with God now for over a year, since November 2023. And it's a funny story, really, my testimony. So I'll just get straight to it. I won't give you too much of a backstory. So I was depressed. I was in New Age spirituality for a very long time, manifestation, journaling, meditation, quantum physics, all of that stuff. But it got to a point in my life where all of that stuff just went from meaning so much to me to just not really doing anything for me. It only takes you so far. So that's where I was, and November 2023, I said, you know what? Excuse me language, but I said, you know what? I'm not even gonna swear actually. I said, forget all of this spiritual nonsense. Forget all of this spiritual nonsense. The quantum physics, the manifestation, it's all BS. I can't stand it. I said, I know there's a God, so I'm going to pray. So I said, what can I stick to? When can I pray? I'm going to pray in the morning before I get out of bed. I'm going to pray in the nighttime before I go to sleep. I'll be able to stick to that because I know there's a God and I know something is listening. So I'm just going to step out in faith and see what happens. So I did. I was praying in the morning, I was praying in the nighttime, and 2 days later, I can't remember whether it was the next day or 2 days later, I was on my way home from work, and I come off the 40 road and onto a 20 road because I made a habit of if I had had a long day in work, I would go round the back road, round the 20 road, so that I could do like a little 5-minute meditation before I get home, so that I can relax and try and clear my mind before I go home, before I get there. So I come off the 40, I go round Potter's Barn onto the 20 road, and I go onto, I was going the way that I always go. But I'd been praying for 2 days. The next minute, I'd turn up this road that I always go down, and I was going home. I seen a big sign. I seen a huge sign. It said, try praying. And everything else faded into black. Everything else faded. And this sign was highlighted to me, try praying. And I was like, that's a sign. I knew it was a sign from God. It said, try praying. And I'd been praying. So I was just in shock. And then the next day, I think it was the next day, I took the dogs on a walk. I took the dog on a walk and I thought, I'm going to go to that building and see what it was. And it's funny because it was a Christian fellowship. And what's funny about that is because I live alone, I was trying to find new things to fill up my time, my free time. So I was going to start doing a run on a Saturday. I was going to start doing park run on a Saturday, and I was going to find a church to go to on a Sunday. So when I seen this try praying sign, and then I found out that it's a Christian fellowship, and because I had already been looking on the internet to try and find a church, I knew Christianity was the way to go. And because Christianity is more of a relationship with God rather than a religion. So that was my second sign. The try praying sign, and the fact that it was a Christian fellowship. So I think that was like the Thursday or the Friday. So I seen the times on the door, and I thought I'll go there on Sunday. So, and by the way, going to church was just me being curious. It was just me like thinking, do you know what? I'm going to go to church and I'm going to see if I feel anything. I'm going to see if God is there. So the try praying sign and the fact that it was a Christian fellowship, which by the way, if you do try to find a church, definitely go to a Christian church, a spirit-filled Christian church, a filled with the Spirit of God, a Bible-believing Christian church. Don't do Jehovah's Witness, don't do Catholic, don't do Mormonism, don't do any of the others. It's Christianity is where it's at. So I guess these signs, I go to the church on a Sunday. I go in, I said to the people, I said, I've never been here before. They said, just go up and find yourself a seat. So I went into the main room where the service is on the Sunday, 11 a.m. And I sat at the back. I sat at the far back. And the vibe was good. The energy in the room was good. And then a guy called Dan, one of the lads came over to me, Dan, and he was like, what's happening? Have you been here before? And I said, no. I said, and I started chatting with Dan, and I told him about some of the things that I've been looking at online about God and, you know, New Age being witchcraft and all of this type of stuff, which I didn't know, you know. That's another thing. That's another thing with God. You have to, if you've never read the Bible, if you don't understand the religion, which it's not a religion, it's a relationship. God doesn't want you to be religious, but if you don't understand, like, you have to be willing to forget everything you know. Everything you know, you have to be willing to be humble enough to say, do you know what? Everything I thought I knew, or everything I've been taught was a lie. It doesn't matter whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50, or 60, even 70. Age is irrelevant. You have to be humble. You have to be willing to say everything I thought I knew was wrong. If you can do that, then, you know, hats off to you. You know, you can be coachable, you can learn new things, but if you already think that you know everything and that everything that you know is gospel and is the truth, then you're already living a lie, basically. So unless it's the real one true God. Let me get back though. So one of the lads came over to me and he was like, what's happening? Have you been here before? And I was like, no. So I started telling them about, I've been watching these videos online. You know, I told them about Richard Lorenzo. I told them about all of the stuff I've been, you know, the testimony about how I started praying, and I told them and this is why I'm here today, blah, blah, blah. So at the end of the service, I had about 3 or 4 men surrounding me, speaking to me. And the pastor said to me, oh no, I was telling them a little bit about my testimony and how I ended up there. And then the pastor said, I said, I feel like I want to get baptized. I said, I don't know why I feel like I want to get baptized because I want to be cleansed. I want to be cleansed of my sin, and I want to be forgiven for my sin. I felt it strongly, but the pastor said to me, he was like, "Do you know Jesus?" And I said, "I'll be honest with you. I know God. I feel like God's been in my life for a long time." I said, "But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know anything about that Jesus. I don't know anything about that Jesus stuff." And that's the truth. I didn't know anything. So he ran off and he come back and he gave me a booklet and he said, "This is for you." And it was a booklet, like a red and white booklet called Why Jesus. So I had a really positive, genuine experience going to church for the first time. I followed the sign. I went to the church. That night, that same evening, that same day, I went down to the beach and it was about 6 p.m. The sun was just going down, so there was nobody around. I looked up at the sky. I took the dog on a walk. I looked up at the sky and I said, I was speaking to God basically. And I said, God, I was speaking to God for about 20, 30 minutes. But what I remember was I said, God, I said, I followed the signs that you give me. I know you gave me the sign. I said, and I know you led me to that church. I said, if there's anything to this Jesus stuff, I said, tell me and I'll run with it. I said, if this Jesus stuff is a load of BS, then show me and I'll leave it. Because I know that you led me there. So if there's anything to this Jesus stuff, then show me. And if it's a load of BS, then show me. So as time progressed, within the same day, the next day, then over the next like 5 days, 5 to 7 days, my internet search has changed. I just automatically started learning about Jesus. I didn't know anything about Jesus. And now, I'm sharing the gospel. A week later, I went from not knowing anything about Jesus and going to church to then really understanding the simplicity of it. It's so simple when you study Jesus and you understand it and you get your head around it. It's really not difficult whatsoever. So my head fell off, and basically I was in a position where, I thought, if somebody would have told me this a long time ago, I could have been walking with God for years. I can't relate to the Jehovah's Witnesses standing on the street. I can't relate to all of these religious people. Bearing in mind, they've all twisted it anyway to suit themselves. That's why you don't want to go there. But it was clear to me that God was real and that you can have a relationship with God. Like, God will hide himself in plain sight, but he will show himself to those who seek him out. If you look for God, you will eventually find God. And the Bible came alive. The only thing I knew about the Bible was that it had some good quotes. That was all I knew. Because when I look back at some of my social media posts, it's got Bible verses on it, and I just thought it was cool. I just thought it was like quotes. So, I didn't choose this journey. I didn't choose to be reading the Bible. I didn't choose to start studying the Bible. I didn't choose to accept Jesus as Lord. All I did was pray to God out of desperation because I was at the end of my rope with life. And when I look back now, I just see how lost I was. I just see how lost I was, and I see like how simple God actually is. God is not complicated whatsoever. The thing people don't like about God is that they really what you find is that people can't find God because they're angry with God, because they say, if there's a God, then why X, Y, and Z? Why do we have this? Why do we have this? If there's a God, why would he do this? But people are not understanding the story of creation. They don't understand how God works when he gives you free will. People don't think the devil is real. So if you don't understand the story of God and the story of creation, then you're not going to be able to explain or justify the things that happen. So that's how God came in. That's how God came into my life anyway, without diverting too much. I didn't really, I didn't see it coming. I really didn't see it coming. I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't know. I just really didn't see it coming. And it's blew my mind. It's changed my life. It has absolutely changed my life. Walking with God every day and having salvation and being set free from who I was, and the weight of my sin has been lifted, and I feel like a new person. I don't feel like the past is present anymore. I feel like I'm going forward without looking back. So having God in my life, I've basically been given a new life. And everybody who finds God will be given a new life. So, if you're looking for God, invite him in. It's not as strange or far away as you think. God is God is so simple. God makes everything simple. It's really not that difficult whatsoever. And the rules, God God is God. God sets the rules. You might not like it. It is what it is. God sets the rules, and if you follow what God says to do, then your life will be good. So that is all I have to say in this video. But that's how God came into my life. I literally said a prayer. I started praying. I got the sign. I followed the sign. I went to the church. That same night, I went to the beach. Told God I followed the sign. I said, if there's anything to this Jesus stuff, show me. If it's a load of BS, show me and I'll leave it. A week later, I was sharing the good news. I was sharing the gospel. So, and one thing it says in the Bible is that people will be confused of the simplicity of God and the simplicity of Christ. It's so simple that it will confuse you and you won't believe it. My mind is open, so I'm changeable, I'm coachable, I'm teachable, I'm willing to learn, I'm open to learn, I'm open to say, do you know what? I was wrong. Do you know what? What I believed was wrong, and what I've been taught is wrong. So for me, it was pretty easy, especially the place I was, where I was like, I was kind of desperate for something to change. And that's where God gets his glory. You know, God comes at the last minute. God comes when you least expect it, because he wants you to know that it's him. And when you actually find God, you realize that it was him all along, you know, and we owe our life to God. The fact that if you wake up in the morning, you've been given another day. But people don't see it like that. So that's all I've got to say anyway. I don't really know what else to say. If you got something from this testimony, then great. I wish more people would find God, because then the world would be a better place. I wish people would stop saying that God is energy and get past looking at the creation and find the creator, the one true creator, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the creator of the energy, the creator of the matter, you know, and it's in the Bible. I did not see this coming. I didn't think God was in the Bible, but he is. So, yeah, I'm going to do more videos about my experience with God, because, you know, people need to know. People need to know. One thing I would recommend is just getting in a church. If you don't know anything about God, get in the church. Make sure it's a Christian church. Make sure they are filled with the Holy Spirit. Make sure they're Bible believing Christians. And just go and learn about God. Go put yourself in the environment. You know, they say that everybody buys dumbbells, nobody does the home workouts. You know, you need to be in the gym. And that's what I think for the church. You need to be in the environment. You need to go and learn about God. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. Until the next video, stay well, stay healthy, keep your head up, and try your best to do the right thing as much as you can, because the world can be tough. So just try your best to be a good person as much as you can. You know what I mean? Peace out.